orange, Virginia in the home white. And we are underway. Game 2 of a quadruple header on ACC Network. And it's Syracuse that starts with the ball. Georgia Woolley blocked by Olivia McGee. McGee all over it. Another talented freshman for this Cavaliers team, and it's Virginia basketball.
A big-time prospect coming out of high school, Olivia McGee, who's from Louisa, Virginia, just 30 minutes away from the grounds here at UVA. And not necessarily known for her defense, but make that play on the defensive end. I know that makes Coach Mox happy.
Corner 3, off the mark. Sam Brunel, certainly a sharp shooter throughout her college career. Take a look at the Syracuse starting 5. We talked about Fair, but this is a Syracuse team that has a lot of depth and balance. And right on cue, Aleda Rice knocks down a triple. And when you take a look at the Virginia starting 5, we've spoken about the freshman Olivia McGee and Kymora Johnson, but Camryn Taylor, a proven scorer, back into the starting lineup after she didn't start against Wake Forest. That's Syracuse ball off Brunel.
That's really big for Virginia to get Cam Taylor back. Second team All-ACC last year, had missed a couple games due to a knee injury, played well off the bench. I asked Coach Mox, are you going to start her today? And she looked at me and said, of course, she's back.
Fair scoots by the double team, pull up, pop, got it.
Dyashia Fair, her offensive game is just so lethal. And we overuse the term, Jay, scoring from all 3 levels, but she can actually do it. And she's super efficient from the 3-point line, mid-range, and at the rim.
Jump ball. It'll stay with Virginia.
And they do a high hedge here, so Cam Taylor trying to stay in front of Dyashia Fair, but she can't, and that's what you want to do as a smaller guard. They're bringing some height to hedge on that screen. You go right at that height, and you use your speed to get past her.
Woolley lines up the 3. Got it! Syracuse red hot. And Coach Mox says timeout. What a start for Coach Jack's team on the road in Charlottesville. 8-0 in the opening 2 minutes. One of the hottest teams of the ACC starts this way in Charlottesville.
This spring is the perfect time to get away with a great deal on your favorite Hyundai model. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get in and get away now before these deals are gone. Get 0% APR or up to $1,500 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. Hurry, offers end 2/29.
As a small business owner, you learn to wear a lot of hats. Auto Owners takes care of your business insurance so you can take care of everything else. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
You Jimmy's John still waking up early, slicing veggies and meats by hand?
Pathetic.
Only details that matter are green, real dough, not that fresh baked stuff.
It is good bread.
Get that away from my money.
Fresh baked bread at Jimmy John's.
I bought 3 of the same jacket to get the 4th free.
I subscribed to get a deal on these memory supplements, then forgot to cancel.
Well, you know, recognizing a bad deal is a part of the journey. Yes, Eva, would you like to share your breakthrough?
I got AT&T's best deal on the new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus and got to choose my plan.
Yes, we don't make you sign up for the top tier plan to get our best deal.
I still haven't gone. I subscribed to get a deal.
We know.
Get the newest Galaxy on us with any of our best plans, guaranteed.
Turning decades of information into a source of future inspiration. That's what really matters.
At the President's Day sale, save up to $700 and get a free adjustable base. Mattress Firm.
Add NBA League Pass now for the mid-season price of $49.99 and watch live out-of-market games. Plus, watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. YouTube TV. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
women's college basketball is presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC. Now, UVA today celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day. A lot of Virginia women student athletes, even the crew team out there with the ergs, and so many young girls in the crowd got to enjoy that pregame. It was awesome watching them roam around the concourse, so many different sports for them to experiment with.
I'm just thinking back to myself as a 6, 7, 8-year-old, and I would have loved something like that to meet those student athletes. So what a cool experience. And most of them are in attendance. We've got a great crowd here in John Paul Jones Arena today, Jay.
Well, that is something Coach Mox has done a great job with just year 2. She's a Virginia native, knows how important it is to bring the local community together. And this is an awesome atmosphere.
Really great. And Virginia, even though we've talked about this, we looked at the standings, you know, they're fighting to get to that upper half of the ACC standings. Still, their fans and this crowd has been showing up for them.
So Syracuse, a red-hot start. They've made 3 of their first 4 shots. Here's Dyashia Fair in attack mode. Finds Woolley, a 3. Can't connect. Offensive rebound keeps it alive. Syracuse, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country.
They're 6th nationally. They average nearly 17 offensive rebounds per game. Coach Mox emphasized that rebounding, keeping them off the offensive glass, was going to be huge.
Woolley right into the lane for 2.
Georgia Woolley coming off a season-high 24 points at Miami. Dyashia Fair is the star of this team. Georgia Woolley is a very capable Robin to Dyashia Fair's Batman.
Going inside, Cam Taylor through traffic, gets it to go.
A great pass by Sam Brunel. Syracuse playing that extended 3-2 zone. Get the ball to the high post area, and then you got to look inside for Cam Taylor. To beat the zone, you always want to get the ball in that high post area near the ACC logo. Syracuse collapses on Brunel, and Brunel, almost a no-look wraparound pass to Cam Taylor.
Wood, Syracuse going inside and cashing in.
And Syracuse sticking in that zone that we talked about, but applying a little more ball pressure at the top.
Spin cycle, and Camryn Taylor delivers back-to-back buckets.
And just like the previous possession, get the ball to the high post, and then you get Cam Taylor in a one-on-one situation. If she's one-on-one that deep in the paint, Cam Taylor's going to score.
Fair, so crafty. Rattles in, but doesn't drop. That was halfway down. Johnson going coast to coast. Everything but the finish.
Smart play by Johnson to pull up, not get the charge call, but couldn't knock it down in transition.
Great feed from Woolley, an easy finish for Kymora Wood underneath.
Kymora Wood has come along for this Syracuse team. She's a top 10 rebounder in the ACC. I love how aggressive she is, and also giving them some offense early in this game.
Brunel, wide open 3, got it! Sam Brunel, she'll make you pay from there.
Oh, look
How
at
about
this.
The hustle, Paris Clark all over it. Forces the jump ball, it'll stay Syracuse possession, but great hustle by the sophomore.
Paris Clark sticking her nose in there, getting her hand on the basketball, and Sam Brunel goes to the bench to get a quick breather, but one of the best shooters in the ACC. Everyone knows that. She's been banged up with some injuries throughout her career, but can absolutely light it up. Her last 3 games, she's shooting 48% from 3, and you can't leave her. You can't leave her, Jay. She's going to knock it down.
It was Fair and Wood who got tangled up on the inbounds. Because Syracuse had the possession arrow, the ball stays with the orange.
And keep an eye on this. Alexia Smith for Virginia, who just came in, number 23, face guarding Dyashia Fair, trying to not even let her touch the basketball.
They go inside to the freshman Alyssa Latham, who draws the foul. Well, Kelly, after Syracuse got out to that 8-0 start at the beginning of this game, Virginia has dialed up the defensive pressure, getting more on the offensive end. Coach Mox has to be happy with how they've responded.
And this is well done by Virginia, because sometimes an 8-0 run, you can really get down on yourselves. You can feel like the game's over. It's so early in the game. You've got to be able to bounce back.
And they certainly have. We remind you, next Sunday, women's basketball, terrific slate as always here on ACC Network. North Carolina at Virginia Tech at 2 is going to be a good one. And then at 5:30, rivalry game, NC State at Duke.
Jay, I am calling that UNC Virginia Tech game. Can't wait. I know Cavalier fans watching don't want to hear about the Hokies, but they did just announce that College Game Day is coming to that game.
Oh, that's amazing.
For North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has never hosted College Game Day, at least for women's basketball. I'm not sure for men's. So that's a big deal for the ACC and for the Hokies.
Big block by Kymora Wood. Woolley, the trailer, transition 3, got it again. Georgia Woolley, red hot to start this game.
Sometimes you are just in the zone. Georgia Woolley coming off her season high at Miami. Feels like she's still in Miami the way she's shooting the ball.
Now the Orange, great intensity in this first quarter. Shooting 7 of 10 from the floor. They've been dialed in on defense as well.
Syracuse also has 5 assists on their 7 made baskets. They're sharing the rock.
Kymora Johnson tried to squeeze it in there, kick ball.
And one thing Coach Mox was emphasizing to me at shoot-around was we need Kymora Johnson to be aggressive from the jump. We know she's just a freshman, but she's one of the best freshmen in the country, and she means so much to our team with how much she produces. We need her to look for her shot early. She's only taken 1 shot so far in this game.
Johnson has it here. Fed inside to Smith, who travels.
As I've said, the key against the zone is to get the ball in that ACC logo area, but it's also hard when you catch it there, undersized player like Smith, and Syracuse surrounds you with size. It's tough to make a play, and that's how you get a turnover, like you just saw.
Woolley lobs it underneath. It's Syracuse shooting 8 of 11 to start this game. Wow.
They have done a great job of handling the hard hedge and sometimes the trap from Virginia on the ball screen. Virginia's ball screen defense is just not really bothering Syracuse at this point.
Fair behind the back.
A little too spicy there, Jay.
Farajao wasn't ready for it. And Johnson puts it over the head of Brown. 4 turnovers in this first quarter for Virginia.
Dyashia Fair, we know how crafty she is, trying to hit Farajao with the behind the back and just lost control of it a little bit. But I think that shows you how loose Syracuse is feeling, Jay, and just how confident this team is feeling. They are truly one of the hottest teams in the country at this point.
Now, earlier this week, the committee revealed their top 16. Syracuse was not in it, but you have to imagine they're creeping close. And why that's important is obviously the top 16 teams get to host the first and second round in the NCAA tournament. If Syracuse continues to play like they have over the course of conference play, you have to imagine they would get into that top 16, right?
Well, they're at least in the top 20 because they are a 5 seed, or I believe they're in the top 20. They're currently a projected 5 seed. So they have every chance in the world to play themselves into a top 4. And you mentioned it, Jay, hosting in the NCAA tournament is so important. And this is a team that didn't even make the NCAA tournament last year. They were on the bubble but didn't make it. So a massive jump for this Syracuse program from last year to this year.
You take a look at that Syracuse resume, and 7 wins in the net top 50. You see the current projection, like Kelly said, the 5 seed. Yeah, the one thing I think you have to give so much credit to the Orange for, you said preseason number 9 in the ACC, and yet they're sitting in second. Syracuse draws a charge. Farajao in perfect position.
That was textbook, the way she drew that charge, Jay, to get her feet set and embrace the contact. But you're exactly right. What Coach Felicia Leggett-Jack has done at Syracuse, she took over a program that I believe she had 4 returning players when she took it over 2 years ago because of a coach dismissal. A lot of players left. And then last year had them on the bubble with some transfers from her previous stop at Buffalo. And now has them on the cusp of a top 4. I think she's the ACC Coach of the Year at this point, without a doubt.
No doubt about it. Dyashia drills it from the corner.
When Syracuse makes threes, they are almost unstoppable. They're 14-1 this season, Jay, when they shoot over 30% from 3. That's not 40%. That's over 30%. So just make, some of them, and you're beating pretty much everyone you play.
Under 2 minutes left to this opening quarter. Virginia looking for something. Right now, Syracuse on a 10-1 run over the last 3 minutes. And another turnover. Rice off the mark there. Trying to get something in transition, and there's a lid on the rim right now for the Cavaliers.
A great pass by Alexia Smith. If you're going to beat a ranked team and a team like Syracuse, you got to make layups. You've got to make layups in transition. And Virginia, just as you said, it feels like there's a little bit of a lid on the basket for them right now.
No made field goals in the last 4 minutes for Virginia. It's allowed Syracuse to balloon this lead to 14. And another turnover. That's now 7 turnovers in this first quarter.
And these turnovers aren't even really forced for Virginia. Syracuse isn't doing anything crazy to force these turnovers. It's more Virginia speeding themselves up, playing faster than they want to, and that's leading to mistakes.
Virginia only 3 made shots in this first quarter, 7 turnovers. That is not the recipe to beat a ranked team.
Especially against a team like Syracuse that can fill it up offensively.
Rice pull-up pop, misfires. Can Kymora Johnson get something going? She's been quiet in this first quarter. Off to McGee, the fellow freshman. Comes up short on the 3. Fair in the double team. Trying to dribble out of it. Loose ball falls to Brunel. Here's Johnson. Attacking, but it does not drop.
That defensive possession is what Virginia's been trying to do this entire first quarter. Trapping that ball screen, using their size, using Sam Brunel in the trap at 6'2", or Cam Taylor, to use that size to make sure Dyashia Fair can't pass out of it. And that's well done. This is a perfect trap off of a ball screen. They had not been able to do that much in this first quarter until then.
Offensive rebound, McGee. 7 seconds left through the quarter. Here's Taylor, doesn't have time. Off to Johnson. The floater, no good. Virginia misses their last 9 shots of that first quarter since those days at Hofstra.
It's really cool to see that mentorship in women's basketball and how much Coach Jack has meant to Coach Mox. And the fact that they're both coaching in the ACC, I asked both of them if they ever thought that would happen, and they just laughed. They can't believe they're getting to coach against each other. What a cool story and a full circle moment for both these women.
No doubt about it. Back in the ACC, hired the same year. This is their 2nd year in their respective programs. And Coach Mox was hired by Coach Jack when she was the head coach at Indiana, so spent a couple years on her staff in Bloomington, but now facing each other for the first time in these last 2 years in the ACC together. Shot clock down to 2. Fair somehow gets it off. Dyashia Fair, are you kidding?
She's unfair. That's the only way to describe Dyashia Fair. And she's just a killer, because at the end of that shot clock, Virginia thinks they've just had a great defensive possession, and Dyashia Fair scores. But how about 5 quick points from senior leader Sam Brunel, trying to get her team going in this second quarter.
And Virginia needs it. Need a spark from somewhere when you get down early by 14. Down, but certainly not out. A lot of time left in this game for the home team Cavaliers. String together some defensive stops would help. Great rebound by Taylor, flying in to secure that ball.
And you've got to rebound. We've talked about Syracuse and their rebounding prowess. They're 6th nationally in offensive rebounds per game, but Virginia is also a very good rebounding team. So that's going to be a key. If Virginia can get a few more second chance points in this second quarter, it can be a way they can get back in this game.
McGee, corner 3, goes begging. Great play. Johnson rips it away, draws the foul. Kymora Johnson, the crafty freshman. She is so fun to watch.
She really is, and she needs to get going for this Virginia team. One way to get going is to get yourself to the free throw line, but look at this. Just sneaking up out of nowhere, getting herself to the free throw line.
I mean, if you're a young player, those are the plays I love, because it's all about hustle, never giving up on a play, and just reading the moment.
Right.
Ball was right there, go and grab it.
And that's instinct too. Some of that you cannot teach. Kymora Johnson has that. She's one of the most talented players to ever come to Virginia. McDonald's All-American, was a top 25 recruit from Charlottesville. Could have gone anywhere in the country, and before Coach Mox took over at Virginia, she did not want to go to Virginia. She was looking elsewhere. She wanted to go away from home. Coach Mox took over. Wasn't sure if she could even get Kymora Johnson, was just trying to get her on grounds for a visit. And finally, once Kymora Johnson visited, they started to really connect. And Coach Mox said that she almost, and I don't think Coach Mox cries often, but she said she almost cried when Kymora Johnson committed to Virginia. Just got an update there on our delay, Jay. There is something on the floor, and we are grabbing some alcohol to rub it out of the painted area.
Whatever works, right?
Hey.
Gives us a chance to remind you, Wednesday night, terrific matchup right here on ACC Network. Clemson at Georgia Tech, Wednesday, 7 Eastern. When those two teams played each other in South Carolina earlier this season, the game went to double overtime. So it should be a fun matchup in Atlanta. Georgia Tech, a big win yesterday against the Syracuse men's team.
I think we are still trying to get something off the floor here. There's the alcohol we were talking about, Jay. Oh my gosh.
We've got gloves and all.
In all seriousness, though, this helps Virginia because Syracuse was in such a rhythm in that first quarter, shooting lights out. They're shooting nearly 60% from the floor. To have this game pause with this very unorthodox situation, it helps Virginia.
I can't really see what they're trying to rub off.
I have no idea what's even on the floor. What is it?
What are we watching?
A strong round of applause from the crowd.
Biggest cheer of the day from an awesome crowd. This is the highest attendance of the season here in Charlottesville today.
Feels like the entire lower bowl is full, and there are people in the upper deck as well.
And that's why if Virginia can just get going, cutting to the Syracuse lead. They trailed by as many as 14, now down to single digits. Get this crowd behind them.
Exactly.
Anything is possible.
And now is Syracuse a bit more out of rhythm from having to sit there and watch something being rubbed off the floor? I'm not sure.
Fair, double teamed. Off to Woolley. A foul called on Brunel.
It's a bailout there for Syracuse. Virginia, when they get a great trap on Dyashia Fair and they get the ball out of Dyashia Fair's hands, that's a win. And then you have to play it out and get the stop. You can't afford to foul once you're able to get the ball out of number 2's hands.
Wilson backing down, everything but the finish. Brunel emerges with it. Tried to squeeze it into Taylor, deflected, falls to Fair. And what a weapon Fair is, because you have to go out because she's a threat to shoot, but she's so quick to squeak by you with the dribble.
Her handles are so tight too that it's just a split-second difference for her between picking it up to shoot and continuing her dribble. And that's so difficult to guard as a defender. Just one of the many things that make Dyashia Fair difficult to guard.
Misses the three, offensive rebound, can't cash in. Well, Syracuse started this game 9 for 12, but they've just made 1 of their last 7. They've cooled off. Let's see if Virginia can capitalize. Eight seconds to shoot. Trying to go inside to Taylor. A 9th turnover for Virginia, and Fair goes down and cashes in. So good in transition.
She's going to make you pay on those live ball turnovers. Virginia is really struggling against this zone. It feels like they're trying to force the ball to Cam Taylor at times when it's just not there. They need a few more ball reversals, and then maybe Cam Taylor will be more open.
Brunel draws the foul. Will go to the line for 2.
Brunel's been great for Virginia so far in this game. 8 points for her on 3 of 4 shooting. We talk about Kymora Johnson and Olivia McGee, these 2 highly touted freshmen, and them coming to Virginia. Coach Mox said that she felt like those 2 freshmen, Kymora Johnson there talking with Mox, started to take Virginia a bit more seriously when they got Sam Brunel to commit in the portal. Once they heard Brunel was coming, they thought, okay, maybe we want to go to Virginia and try to build this program back into something special.
You know, it starts with 1. That is the toughest to land when you're a new coach taking over a program that, let's face it, it was a tough job that she inherited.
Yes.
Virginia, a great history, a great tradition, but in recent history, before Coach Mox got here, it was not up to the standard. But she has brought it back in just 2 seasons.
She really has. She's brought the fans back, and to bring in the recruiting class that she did last year, specifically Johnson and McGee, tells you all you need to know. Those 2 can truly be centerpieces of your program.
Wood in a double team. Jump ball. Big battle between Cam Taylor and Kymora Wood. Ball stays with Syracuse.
Both Taylor and Wood are feisty. That's the word I'm going to use, and I mean it in the best way. They're both just absolutely tenacious rebounders. They're both relentless, and I think you're seeing that between those 2. But just going after the ball, didn't develop in anything else, and that's what we like to see.
Well, the #1 non-negotiable for a Coach Jack team is rebounding.
She is a big believer.
Because Coach Mox played for Coach Jack, she has adopted that principle. So both of these teams know they have to rebound. Fair from deep. Dyashia Fair, unlimited range.
Jay, you can rebound all you want. And I know the great Pat Summitt said rebounding wins championships. But how about Dyashia Fair? How about a 3-pointer from almost the Virginia border? That's what's going to win championships and win games for this Syracuse team.
Taylor, second effort. This time gets it to go.
I like that adjustment from Coach Mox. Instead of trying to force the ball inside to Taylor from the high post, just put Cam Taylor at the high post, get her the ball, and let her go to work.
Woolley thought about it. Now pulls the trigger and is fouled. Georgia Woolley with 2 free throws coming. If she makes them both, she'll be in double figures for the 7th time in just the last 9 games. Thursday night, 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, you have to tune into the Nothing But Net crew. They will break down the day full of highlights, and we'll preview the games to come.
We got you covered, Jay. Come join us. We have a great time on Ladies' Night.
I love watching you, and you know what I love is that you've owned Thursday nights.
Come on, yes.
You've taken that over.
We took it from the NFL. Once the NFL on Amazon, once they were done, we were like, all right, it's our time.
And with the ACC, this is coming down to the wire with who's going to be the top 4 seeds and get that critical bye. Couple of good looks for Virginia, can't cash in. Rice in transition. Syracuse has had success turning good defense into offense, and they do it again on a Georgia Woolley triple. Her 3rd made 3 of the afternoon.
Syracuse is firing on all cylinders. Dyashia Fair, she draws a crowd, she kicks out to her teammate Georgia Woolley, who knocks it down.
When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. When victory alone isn't enough, you raise your bar, keep dreaming, and go beyond the limits of what you ever thought possible. The new 2024 Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot, part of our most rugged trail sport lineup yet. From Honda.
You Jimmy's John still waking up early, slicing veggies and meats by hand? Pathetic. Only details that matter are green, real dough, not that fresh baked stuff. It is good bread. Get that away from my money.
Fresh baked bread at Jimmy John's.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She saved us enough to help us open our 2nd location.
Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Why are you here? To find a place to rent. I know renters when I see them. Apartments.com. We can help you get into a lovely 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, I don't want to presume anything. Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Ooh, number 7 Future Renew Day Cream. Reverses damage. What, like from sleeping in my makeup? Flawless. Emotional damage? No. Skin only.
Reverse visible skin damage with new Future Renew Day Cream. With a world-first peptide technology no other skincare product has.
Who's got damage? Besides all of us.
Don't regret, just reverse.
Don't make me get up out my seat.
Broke the internet again.
Oh, it's coming in really fast.
Yeah, it's Verizon 5G. The network is crazy powerful. I bet you can't break that.
I bet I can.
Wait, what?
Beyonce breaks the internet, but can she break Verizon?
Broken?
Not even close. No.
I'm running for Beyonce of the United States. Can you hear me now?
No breaking.
Y'all ready for Rocket B?
Still works.
Someone get me down.
When you grab the disposable Ball aluminum cup, you experience a premium cup. You'll feel the cool of every cold drink. And since it's made of aluminum, it's infinitely recyclable.
The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th to the 25th as ACC Unity Week. Here in Charlottesville, Game 2 of our women's basketball quadruple header on ACC Network. A great crowd here in Charlottesville. Take a look at the top 8 seeds that were revealed by the committee earlier this week. South Carolina, they were getting tested earlier over on ABC against Georgia, and then the next 8 top 16. That's what Syracuse is trying to crack into, that critical top 16 that'll earn a hosting role in the first and second rounds.
Exactly right. You see Louisville at the 16 seed. They're playing Virginia Tech right now. Virginia Tech is up big, and Syracuse split with Louisville. They just recently beat Louisville, and then they lost to Louisville at Louisville. So there's a split there. I think Syracuse and Louisville fighting right now for the 15-16 spot. And I think this ACC is so good, Jay, that the top 4 seeds in the ACC tournament should end up with top 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Of course, we'll see how it unfolds.
And that would be a huge deal for Coach Jack in just year 2 to be able to host your NCAA tournament games would be massive.
It would be unbelievable, frankly, with what she took over to what she's doing now. I know when you bring in a Dyashia Fair, it changes everything, but Dyashia Fair, when Coach Jack left Buffalo to come to Syracuse, Dyashia Fair could have gone anywhere. She visited South Carolina. I mean, she was wanted all over the country, and she chose to stay with Coach Jack because of their relationship and their bond. And now Syracuse shooting lights out today. They're 7 of 12 from 3, just playing. They're playing like one of the best teams in the country right now.
And Virginia, meanwhile, has missed their last 5 shots. It's allowed Syracuse to balloon this lead to 18, largest lead of the game for the Orange. Paris Clark ends the scoring drought. Fair lost the handle. Great hustle by Johnson off to Clark. Everything but the finish. Taylor battling through off to Clark. This time cashes in back-to-back baskets for Paris Clark.
Paris Clark helping Virginia out of it. And how about Kymora Johnson, the true freshman, getting that steal on Dyashia Fair. She's guarding one of the best players in the country and a player that's about 5 years older than her because of the COVID year. And Kymora Johnson trying to stay in front of Dyashia Fair. Dyashia Fair gets her on that one. It's a chess match going back and forth.
Fair now with 58 career double-figure scoring games. It's almost assumed at this point.
She came into today 59 points away from passing Brittany Griner for 5th all-time in NCAA history.
And Virginia, much-needed 3. Clarkson delivers. If you're Virginia, if you could just try and get some stops and maybe cut it to 10 or single digits by halftime, you'd feel pretty good.
Well, you're exactly right, Jay. It's got to be stopped. It's got to start on the defensive end. Feels like Syracuse is getting pretty much any shot they want right now. They're knocking down threes, as we've talked about, but they're shooting nearly 60% from the floor. And some of that is Virginia's got to find a way to stay in front of these guards that are penetrating and attacking, staying in front of Dyashia Fair and staying in front of Georgia Woolley. I mean, that's number 1 for Virginia right now and what they have to work on and fix.
Woolley's been terrific today, has it here, off to Rice, pull up pop, got it.
And we talk about Fair and Woolley. If Rice is also playing well, it's really tough to beat Syracuse. If they're getting other players stepping up besides Fair and Woolley, then they look like, we've talked about, like a top team in the country.
Now Syracuse shooting 57% from the floor in this first half. A minute left in it. Clark's been the bright spot as of late for Virginia. I think a lot of focus on the Syracuse offense when you've got a team shooting 57% and they've made 7 threes, but I think the Syracuse defense has been terrific. I mean, forcing 9 turnovers, and nothing's come easy for Virginia offensively.
The Syracuse zone has given Virginia some problems for sure, and they just don't seem super comfortable against this zone right now.
Fair calls her own number, makes it look so easy, especially in transition. Dyashia Fair.
First half points, excuse me, for Dyashia Fair, the 3rd leading scorer in the ACC.
Here's Clark trying to find Brunel. Inside Clarkson, but a travel before she got the shot off.
We know how Dyashia Fair is a weapon in so many ways, but especially in these late clock situations, to have a player that can absolutely go get her own shot without any help. They're doing 4 down right now and just clearing out for Dyashia Fair. That's such a weapon.
Fair goes to work. Missed it. Got a good look. But Syracuse finishes this first half in the driver's seat. Woolley and Fair with 13.
And I felt like a lot of those weren't even really forced. It was just mistakes. And then they've got to buckle down defensively. I want to see what Virginia does to adjust on Dyashia Fair and just try to keep the ball out of her hands as much as possible.
Brunel steps out for a 3. Can't connect. Will stay Virginia's way.
Let me add one more thing, Jay, because I just thought of one more thing I want to talk about with Virginia. Syracuse has been so good from 3, and Virginia is just not shooting the 3 ball that well tonight. Run Syracuse off the line as much as you can, and a great cut there by Paris Clark. But by what I mean is, get Syracuse off that 3-point line. Make Dyashia Fair take 2s. Anything but a 3 would be my focus if I'm Virginia defensively.
Woolley off the mark, offensive rebound. That's the one thing Virginia can't afford. Fair a 3, cashes in. Some second chance points on that triple.
And that's a perfect example. They forced Georgia Woolley to take a tough 2. They did that, but then the offensive rebound kills Virginia as Syracuse gets that offensive board and then finds Dyashia Fair for a 3.
Inside the Taylor. You know, that's been effective when they can get it into her.
Right, but you can't afford to trade 3s for 2s, and that's what Syracuse is doing right now. They are just blistering from beyond the arc this afternoon. 8 of 13 as a team.
Travel.
So here's what I was talking about in that previous Syracuse possession. They forced Georgia Woolley to take a tough 2. It's good defense, but Kymora Wood keeps the play alive, gets the rebound, and Georgia Woolley attacks, finds Dyashia Fair for a 3. Just a heartbreaking possession for Virginia because you did what you wanted to do initially, but gave up that old board, and then Syracuse got what they wanted.
Virginia has numbers. Johnson rolls off the rim, no good. She's had some good looks today and uncharacteristically hasn't finished them.
Quite a few missed layups for Virginia. Syracuse just missed one there, but Virginia is the one that can't afford right now to miss those layups.
Johnson 0 for 6 from the floor. Her only 2 points have come from the foul line. This is a player that the last 7 games has averaged more than 22 points a game. Rice fouled on her way to the rim.
It's going to be really hard for Virginia to win games in this league if Kymora Johnson is not playing well. And that's not fair, right? Because Kymora Johnson's just a true freshman, but that's part of the rebuild at Virginia and how much they're relying on Kymora Johnson. As you mentioned, Jay, her last 7 games, she's playing like one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Over 22 points per game, and that's part of being a freshman. Sometimes the season can wear on you, you just don't have it, but it's just how much Virginia relies on this true freshman.
How much of Johnson's off day do you think has to do with the fact she's going against Dyashia Fair?
I'm not sure that has too much to do with it, just because Dyashia Fair's not really guarding her. I think it's more this Syracuse zone has been affecting Kymora Johnson because she can't penetrate as much as she wants and gets to the rim, and she hasn't been able to knock down any 3s. She's 0 for 1. But I think the zone and not being able to get out in transition has limited Johnson.
McGee a 3. The shooting struggles continuing for the Cavaliers. Johnson a good look, passes it up. Great ball movement. That's more like it for Virginia.
And made possible by Kymora Johnson, making a smart play and a good pass inside, and then a great job by Clarkson with the extra pass.
Step back three, Fair misfires this time. Johnson give and go. Here's Clarkson. Paris Clark, scoop to the hoop.
Paris Clark can get to the rim. She's played very well today, has helped keep Virginia within striking distance. Virginia on a bit of a run.
Foul called underneath.
Better ball movement here for Virginia. Good play by Kymora Johnson, then an even better extra pass by London Clarkson. And Paris Clark getting to the rim, which she's done so well in this game. Virginia showing some more life offensively, but they've got to get some stops on the defensive end.
The officials taking time to make sure that they've got the timing right here.
Jay, maybe they're checking the floor again. Maybe something else.
That was bizarre, the first half. Get the rubbing alcohol out.
The rubbing alcohol.
The woman bringing out the small tube of alcohol is wearing gloves. It was...
I've never seen that before.
No.
And now, I don't know.
This should be pretty simple, right? And you feel bad for Virginia because prior to that, it felt like the crowd was getting into it for the first time in the second half.
Right, they'd grabbed some momentum and then this weird stoppage.
Yeah, Syracuse no made baskets in nearly 3 minutes here. And the Orange turn it over. Feels like the opportunity is there for Virginia to build some momentum here. Deep three, right on cue. Kymora Johnson buries it.
Kymora Johnson, we've been talking about her, saying how important she is to Virginia. She knows how important she is. Big three from the freshman.
Her first made shot of the day is a big one. Virginia on a 7-0 run. And the scoring woes continue for Syracuse.
What a rebound.
Yeah, terrific rebound by the freshman, Alyssa Latham.
Here's Kymora Johnson. Pretty far off that three-point line, but shooting with confidence, and the bench loving it. To beat a zone, you have to knock down some threes. And Virginia being able to do that a bit here in this third quarter.
A foul called on Clarkson. Home fans don't like it.
I think Latham just drew 2 consecutive fouls on the Virginia bigs. Let's take another look at it. Latham gets the shot up. I don't love that call. London Clarkson was already there. She had established her position. Latham jumped into her. I don't love that call.
And a foul called against Latham this time.
Latham has been quiet, only 2 points, 3 rebounds for her. This was a big-time recruit that Coach Jack was able to bring in, and she's had an exceptional freshman season. Virginia's been able to limit her some.
McGee pull-up pop, it's good! And Virginia's cut it to single digits on a 9-0 run.
Virginia with some life, they're scoring the ball, but they are also buckling down on the defensive end.
And an offensive foul. Isabel Verajao called for a push-off underneath. Syracuse in a scoring drought of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's allowed a 9-0 Virginia run.
Maybe a little bit of a makeup call for that foul on Clarkson a couple possessions ago.
Kymora Johnson playing with pace, confidence now. Tries a three. Too much on it.
That would have brought the house down, Jay.
Fair in transition. Kick out. Woolley a triple. It's good. Georgia Woolley, her 4th made 3 of the afternoon.
Ice in her veins. Jay, there is no better feeling than silencing the crowd with a 3 as an opposing team, and especially when the other team started to really grab some momentum.
Runner for Johnson rattles home. Virginia's definitely found an offensive rhythm here in the 3rd quarter.
They have. Kymora Johnson's been more aggressive. Paris Clark has been able to get them going.
Wood left alone, and she makes Virginia pay.
Syracuse is just flat out shooting the ball. Shooting over 50% from the field and over 60% from 3.
Both of these teams finding an offensive flow, going back and forth. Fair showing off the handles. Left it short on the shot. Pace is definitely picked up. Clark misses the layup, and that's a costly one. Nobody even in the area, with Virginia building momentum.
That is at least 4 missed layups for Virginia in transition. And think about how different this score would be with those layups.
Can't get a better look than that one.
No, you can't. Sometimes you're too wide open, Jay.
Shot clock down to 5. Wood goes up with it and cashes in. Great low post move from Kira Wood.
What a move by Wood, using her quickness inside.
Clarkson counters and is fouled. Now this 3rd quarter has brought a great pace as Virginia trying to come back.
It really has. We've seen some offense in this 3rd quarter. The Who's have come alive here in JPJ.
When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. When victory alone isn't enough, you raise your bar, keep dreaming, and go beyond the limits of what you ever thought possible. The new 2024 Ridgeline Passport and Pilot, part of our most rugged trail sport lineup yet. From Honda.
When Doug and Andre came to TurboTax,
we navigated a turbulent housing market by
buying a motorhome.
But we didn't know the first thing about filing taxes as first-time home buyers.
I knew how to make their move count. We file taxes for millions of new homeowners and guarantee 100% accuracy on land and sea.
Was that a shark?
Yes.
Make your moves count. Intuit TurboTax, 100% accuracy guaranteed.
DirecTV Sports Central brings your game stats and scores together. And now you can get it with or without a satellite. One more reason to finally get rid of cable. But getting rid of the cable guy might not be as easy.
Oh yeah, touchback. Every Sunday. Ooh, hey, are you gonna make those pigs in a blanket again?
You don't feed these guys, do you?
Mistakes were made, Travis Kelce. Still the first quarter? Can you turn up the volume?
Visit DirecTV.com for up to a $200 reward card.
It feels wonderful to make the jump from a career in the fashion industry to one of the best schools in the country.
Jimmy Dean Morning Combos.
They're bite-sized. I'm kind of tickled to say that.
At Doth's, an ordinary pretzel just isn't enough. So they add savory seasoning and tempting buttery flavor into every delicious twist. Now that's enough to make you order a special delivery.
That seems like a lot.
They're really good. Doth's, sensationally seasoned pretzels.
You brought this kingdom together, and it will stay together, even after you're gone. Help protect your loved ones with guaranteed whole life insurance from United of Omaha.
in this third quarter. They've hit 6 of their last 8 shots. They've gotten contributions from all over the roster. They've been passing it really well in the half court. And most importantly, 0 turnovers for Virginia in this third quarter. That has changed this game for them.
Yeah, only 28 points the entire first half, already 17 in this third quarter, and there's still 3 minutes left in it. The Syracuse, their largest lead was 18. That has shrunk to 11.
I'm not sure I've ever seen this, Jay, at this point in a game where Virginia has 17 assists on 17 made field goals. It's impressive.
And also, they just announced the attendance this afternoon in Charlottesville. 6,619, highest this season, and the 4th highest in JPJ history for a Virginia women's basketball game.
That's awesome. Love to see it. Love to see the support from these fans. And it feels like this crowd has kept Virginia in the game.
Especially in the third quarter when they've given them something to shout about. Well, they've cut the Syracuse lead in half. It was 18, now down to 9. Foul on the floor.
Kymora Wood's doing a really good job of using her speed at the post position. She is 6'3", isn't exactly maybe the strongest out there, but she is a quick front court player and is using her speed well to get to the rim.
Yeah, and it's shooting 2 anyway, even though it was on the floor, because Syracuse is now in the bonus for the third quarter. Wood, a Buffalo native, who obviously had a relationship with Coach Jack. When Coach Jack was the head coach of Buffalo, she decided to go to Temple her freshman year, and then when Coach Jack got the Syracuse job, decided to come home to her native state of New York. You take a look at our slate for next Sunday. Terrific triple header here on ACC Network. Notre Dame at BC, North Carolina at Virginia Tech, and NC State at Duke. That's next Sunday right here on ACC Network. Not quite the quadruple header that we had today. There were a bunch of upsets brewing in the early window. Georgia was up on South Carolina. Georgia Tech was beating NC State. Both of those teams came back to win. Virginia battling, trying to pull off an upset here at home. They've had plenty of good looks, just can't finish them. Finally, Taylor does.
Virginia battling on the offensive glass. Now in double digits in offensive rebounds. They're winning the offensive rebounding battle today.
And Wood limping off. Coach Jack going off to make sure she's okay. Verjao checking in for the Orange.
And you're seeing some reserves for Syracuse in terms of their post players. Alyssa Latham, the star freshman, she has 4 fouls, and then Kymora Wood just went off, limping a little bit. So seeing some backups in there for Syracuse, and Virginia's feasting on the offensive glass.
Woolley into traffic. They find Fair, deep 3.
Oh,
count it!
Gosh.
Plus the foul. Dyashia Fair, a chance for a 4-point play.
Unreal. Unfair. Dyashia Fair. Look at this shot. Able to get it off. It hangs in the air for just a little bit. She knocks it down, draws the foul, gives the nod like, yeah, I'm like that, Jay. Dyashia Fair is like that.
Can't complete the 4-point play. Fair with 19 points, though. Now 40 shy of Brittany Griner for what would be 5th all-time in the history of women's basketball.
5th all-time. She's 6th right now. Will eventually be 5th, I think. We can say that safely. As she's moving towards Brittany Griner. And we've seen that graphic a lot lately, the top 5 with Caitlin Clark, who, of course, just set the record, as we see there. Impeccable timing by our production staff. And now you're going to see, pretty soon, Dyashia Fair move in to number 5. That's incredible company to keep if you're Dyashia Fair.
knocks them both down. She leads the Cavaliers with 12 points today.
And Virginia continues to hang around, keeping this game close. They've got to continue to get stops on the defensive end.
Woolley, foul called. She'll get 2 at the line.
I believe they called that on the floor, but because Syracuse is in the bonus, they will send Syracuse to the free throw line. You don't want to send Georgia Woolley to the free throw line. She's a great free throw shooter.
16 points today, 4 made threes, 5 assists as well. Yeah, that's what's so incredible with what Coach Jack has built here in the ACC, currently in 2nd place in the conference. Is, you know, Dyashia Fair, Georgia Woolley, they started at Buffalo with her. Yeah. She brings them to Syracuse, and now they've shown that they're some of the best players in the ACC.
It's very rarely do you see 2 players that started at a quote-unquote mid-major be the starting backcourt for an ACC team, much less a team that could very well win the league. Now, Buffalo was very good under Coach Jack, but still, it's incredible.
Verajao, great hustle. Gets on the floor, wins possession for the Orange.
And I know what the viewers are thinking. Yes, that Verajao. Isabel Verajao is the niece of Anderson Verajao, former Cleveland Cavalier great. She was at Michigan before transferring to Syracuse and playing some big minutes for the Orange today.
Fair drawing out Clarkson.
London Clarkson is a 4/5 player trying to guard Dyashia Fair right now.
She's tough to guard anyway. It rattles home. Dyashia Fair, the handles, the finish. She's got it all.
I think you've got to switch that matchup. You've got to find a way to switch someone else onto Dyashia Fair, because she sees a post player guarding her, she's going to score.
Syracuse, a season high, 11 made threes. 4 of them belong to Fair. 5 seconds left in the quarter. Clarkson in traffic, off the mark. That's a costly foul at the end of the 3rd quarter, because it'll send Syracuse back to the foul line.
That is the last thing you want to do in that situation if you're Virginia, is fast. Sending Syracuse to the line. They weren't going to be able to score. There wasn't enough time left, but now they get a chance to go to the line. Coach Mock's obviously frustrated with that situation.
The Wednesday night men's basketball matchup right here on ACC Network. P.J. Hall and Clemson take it on Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Now, Virginia had done well to cut into the Syracuse lead, but Syracuse closes in furious fashion. 6-0 run for the Orange in the final minute. And a Wahoo legend who led them to 3 consecutive Final Fours, 14-time ACC champion. That was really special to watch.
It was very cool, and it was cool to see how much it meant to Debbie Ryan, how emotional she was. And I said to you, Jay, during the halftime, what a Rolodex of people that talked in that video about her. Dawn Staley, Gino Ariema, the list goes on and on. It's very clear the impact that she's made.
I did not know Gino was an assistant here under Ryan from 1981 to 1985 before he took the job at UConn.
That's incredible. And he said in the video that no one has impacted him more than Debbie Ryan.
Now, what an impact she's made on this community, and well celebrated.
And that's where Virginia's trying to get back to. They've done it. They've proven as a program that they can get to Final Fours. They want to be able to do that again, and that's Coach Mox's goal and ambition for this program. They have the fan support, and the way Coach Mox has been able to recruit in just her first couple of years here with Kymora Johnson, Olivia McGee, is very impressive.
You know, those 3 Final Fours. Debbie Ryan, you know, the one thing is to bring her back and let her see how much she is still beloved and celebrated, because you know, when you've been away for a while, maybe you can feel disconnected, but she's as celebrated as ever, as we saw during halftime. Georgia Woolley stays red hot. How good has she been today? 22 points for Woolley.
Textbook, one dribble pull up. They run her off the three-point line, which is what I've been saying. But Woolley makes them pay with a mid-range. And when Woolley and Fair are clicking like this, when they're playing like this, Jay, and being as efficient as they are, and finding each other, each of them has 5 assists. This Syracuse team can beat almost anybody in the country if those two are playing like that.
Well, and getting to 70 points has been the magic number for the Orange. 13-0 when they score 70 or more. They're already at that number. 8 minutes left of this fourth quarter.
That's a great stat. Just watching, I've watched Syracuse all year, but watching them today, it's hard to imagine them scoring less than 70 with how well they're playing offensively, how connected they're playing.
Great feed inside. Couldn't quite finish it.
And what I like about this Syracuse team compared to last year is they have a lot more depth. Last year, if one of their starters had 4 fouls and really hadn't played that much like Latham has tonight, they'd be in trouble. But they've added some really good depth, especially in the front court. And that's been a difference maker for this Syracuse team.
Johnson, another deep 3. Rattles home. Kymora Johnson. She's got huge range, trying to will Virginia back into this game.
I think you can get a home court role when you're also, your hometown is Charlottesville, Virginia. That's a hometown role for Kymora Johnson.
Fair, who's had the answer all afternoon long. Good defense there. Gets it back, though. Syracuse, every time Virginia gets back within striking distance, they have an answer.
Exactly right, Jay. Great way to put it. It's felt that way all second half.
Virginia showing pressure, and it forces a turnover. Kymora Wood stepped over the line on the inbounds. So Virginia ball trailing by 12.
Costly turnover for Syracuse. This game's been so interesting, Jay, because we knew Virginia had such turnover struggles in that first half. They only have 3 turnovers in the second half. Both teams only have 11 turnovers each. Virginia has really put that back together in the second half.
Johnson lobbing to Taylor. Couldn't corral it. And it's Syracuse ball.
Kymora Wood has played a great game for Syracuse this afternoon. Defensively, being really active. They've limited Camryn Taylor, who's an all-ACC player. They've limited her a good bit. I like where Kymora Wood has brought. Of course, as I say that, she turns it over, Jay.
Full court pressure has forced 2 turnovers for Virginia. Now can they cash in on the offensive end? Taylor keeps possession. And the threes finally starting to fall. Brown delivers there. And just like that, Virginia's cut into single digits.
Dyashia Fair trying to do what she's done throughout this game. Stop that Virginia momentum.
Step back 3. It's good. Dyashia Fair, 27 points today.
She's just a killer, Jay. Ice in her veins.
Syracuse shooting 67% from 3. Dyashia Fair has 5 triples herself. What a performance.
When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. victory alone isn't enough, you raise your bar, keep dreaming, and go beyond the limits of what you ever thought possible. The new 2024 Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot, part of our most rugged trail sport lineup yet. From Honda.
See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hey, sweetie, how was practice?
My mom was a cheerleader in school. She knows how intense it can be. That's why she always keeps me well fed.
Girls. Oh, hey, Miss J. Come on, team, we got this. Let's go. Hey, honey.
I may have picked basketball over pom-poms, but Mom, I still got the world's best cheerleader rooting me on.
You're always there for them, and we're always here for you. Food Lion, here for every moment.
There's nothing better than a Subway Series footlong, except when you add an all-new footlong sidekick, like the $2 footlong churro covered in cinnamon sugar deliciousness, or the $3 footlong pretzel, salted and baked to perfection, honey mustard shot, and let's not forget the $5 gooey footlong chocolate chip cookie. What's your favorite, Clay?
You're my favorite sidekick. No, you're my favorite sidekick.
We'll get back to him later. Every epic footlong deserves a perfect sidekick.
When Barbara switched to TurboTax,
I broke 4 generations of family tradition with 5 little words. Ma, I want to make perfume. Getting my business off the ground was a full-time job.
so I made Barbara's new sidekick count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and a maximum refund. Make your moves. We'll make them count. Intuit TurboTax. 100% accuracy guaranteed.
Home Goods. Go finding.
This time belongs to those who want it most, where youth is tested and greats are challenged. The playoff push is coming. The time is now.
That is must-see TV. Give her the ball! Are you kidding me? And it's a tie game. He dreams it! I can't believe what I am witnessing. The streak lives it for the win!
Now the Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament coming your way on March 6th. If the season ended today, this is how it would stand. And for Syracuse, earning that double bye, so critical for the Orange.
It's so important in a tournament like this because of how big this tournament is, how deep it is. And to get that kind of rest, you have to win 3 games in 3 days if you get that double bye. That's already a tall task. So getting the double bye is huge and would be massive for Syracuse's program.
And if they shoot like they have today, they are a threat to win the ACC.
Sure. They definitely are. They played Virginia Tech very tight in Syracuse, and that's who the 1 seed is right now.
Shooting 55% from the floor, although 2 misses there will bring the percentage down. 5 minutes left. Virginia trying to mount the comeback. How about Paris Clark right down the lane for 2?
It just feels like they're hanging around, Jay. They're hanging around when they grab that momentum and get to single digits. Then Dyashia Fair happens. So we'll see if she can continue to silence this crowd.
Fair caught in a double team, somehow keeps it alive. Inside, Latham misses it, and Clark controls the rebound.
Big stop for Virginia.
Johnson had a good look to cut it to 5, misfires.
Not the best shot you could have gotten on that possession. Felt a little forced, and now Syracuse can use some of this clock.
Trying to hold on to what would be their 5th straight win, as they continue to try and battle for the #1 seed in the ACC tournament, chasing Virginia Tech, who's up 16 on Louisville. Under 4 minutes to go. ACC Women's College Basketball is presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC.
When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. When victory alone isn't enough, you raise your bar, keep dreaming, and go beyond the limits of what you ever thought possible. The new 2024 Ridgeline Passport and Pilot, part of our most rugged trail sport lineup yet. From Honda.
It was the one restaurant that we could afford on like our $3 per diem. Like you were living when you went to Taco Bell.
It's go time at South Charlotte Hyundai. During our model year-end sales event, every new 2023 model has to go. Shop our inventory and get financing as low as 0%. Lease the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe for just $289 a month for 36 months. Get America's best warranty on all new vehicles, plus our lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Our 2023 models have to go, and you have to go to the model year-end sales event at South Charlotte Hyundai.
The competition's never been better.
I would never let a woman do that.
The stars have never been brighter.
Caitlin Clark, 3,000 career points. Come on, Camryn, bring. Deja Kelly.
Oh, that was pretty.
Amor magic. Some brewing tonight.
There's no stopping us now.
This is just spectacular.
That's our move. Women's college hoops on ESPN and ABC.
The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th to the 25th as ACC Unity Week. As part of this initiative, members of both the Virginia Cavaliers and the Syracuse Orange join one another on the court to demonstrate their commitment to seeing each other as equals and treating each other with respect and dignity at all times, recognizing that our differences don't divide us but make us stronger. Big stop by Virginia, 3:50 left in this game. Cavaliers have trailed throughout, but only down 8, still within striking distance. Johnson, wide open three. And rattled, but didn't drop.
These Virginia fans are just begging for one of those threes to drop. And Johnson has had 2 good looks, just hasn't been able to connect.
That's the player you want taking that shot.
Completely agree. You want the ball in her hands. And from a 3 perspective, you want Brunel as well. Dyashia Fair defended Brunel well, didn't let her get the shot off.
Now the officials conferring and give the ball to Virginia. So the Cavaliers are getting the stops in this fourth quarter. Syracuse only has 9 fourth quarter points, but they haven't been able to capitalize on the offensive end.
And plenty of time left, though. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to rush a bad shot. Run your offense, get a good look. You have a good amount of time left.
Johnson passes up to 3, takes it in for 2, and it's a 2-possession game with 3 minutes to play.
Great decision by Kymora Johnson. Attacked the rim, got a great look.
This is the closest Virginia has been since Syracuse led 12-6 in the first quarter. Remember, the Orange started this game on an 8-0 run. Since that, it's been practically even. 2:30 to go. Shot clock down to 5. Fair for 3. No good. Offensive rebound. Rice keeps it alive.
What an offensive rebound by Elena Rice. We knew this game would come down to rebounding.
Latham keeps it in play, and a timeout taken by Coach Jack. Well-used timeout by Coach Jack, who had all of them at her disposal. Will step aside.
It's bow time. Get fired up tonight because Bojangles has your dinner covered. Southbound, scratch made. Not one of these, but one of these. That's more home cooking for your money. Or as we like to say, cha-ching. It's bow time.
Introducing our all-star lineup. The Camry, the new Grand Highlander, the RAV4, and the Tundra. Toyota undefeated.
Welcome you back to ACC Network Basketball presented by Food Lion. Still 2 games left to play here on our ACC Network quadruple header. And a fun finish here in Charlottesville. Syracuse trying to cling to a road win as they try and battle for the top of the ACC.
And only 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gotta go.
Fair has to hurry. Shot clock down to 2. Pull-up pop. She hits it. 29 points for Dyashia Fair.
The fourth quarter is winning time, and it's also Dyashia Fair time.
Immediate answer, Taylor underneath. Full court pressure from Virginia.
And you see that stat there. Dyashia Fair averages almost 9 points per fourth quarter.
Stolen away by Clark, who ran into Rice. The two collided after Clark pried it free.
We have had very few fouls committed in this fourth quarter. Syracuse only 1 team foul, Virginia 0. So if we get to a point where teams need to start fouling, that could be something to keep an eye on. Syracuse now has 2 team fouls.
Virginia on a 13-5 run over the last 5:30. What a comeback effort this has been against the number 19 team in the country. Taylor makes it a 4-point game.
What a pass by Kymora Johnson. She is going to be special for Virginia for years to come.
Coach Mox has the Cavaliers battling to the finish against her former coach, Coach Jack. Dyashia Fair, 29 points to her name, one of the most prolific scorers of the history of this sport. Going to work, pull-up pop, got it! Dyashia Fair delivers again! 31 points today, and that the biggest bucket of them all.
She is so clutch. You want the ball in her hand. She's calm, cool, collected, and she delivers. And how about Kymora Johnson? We knew that both these guards would play a big role in this game. Great pass by the freshman to Cam Taylor. And then Dyashia Fair just lulls you to sleep. The quick crossover and elevates for the jumper. And what I love about Dyashia Fair's game is she is so stoic, Jay. Her face, her emotions, they never change. She is always locked in, always ready to give you a bucket.
Dyashia Fair, like she has done all season for Syracuse, willing the orange to the finish line. 31 points. And a 6-point cushion. 1 minute left. 2 or 3 if you're here for Virginia.
Anything, any points on this possession. Extend the game as long as possible.
Brunel trying to cut the lead in half. Battle for the board. Latham has it for the orange.
And that's the look Virginia wanted. Getting a 3, an open 3 for Sam Brunel. Coach Mox will take that. She just wasn't able to knock it down.
And here's the problem for Virginia. 0 fouls in this fourth quarter. They'll need to come up with 5 of them to send Syracuse to the line. Dyashia Fair, by the way, 31 points. That makes her 4th 30-plus point game in her career.
She had 38 versus Boston College last week. That was her Syracuse high. She's just, you're witnessing one of the better scorers we've ever seen in the game. And what's so amazing about Dyashia Fair is she's 5'5". Okay, she never has a size advantage on any defender ever, and she still finds a way to be as prolific as she is at that size. That's incredible to me. And when you look at the top 6 on the NCAA all-time list, Jay, and she'll move into top 5 at some point, she is by far the smallest player on that list, and I think that there's something to be said for that, how she's overcome, you know, a lack of height, if you will.
Well, she's 28 points shy of Brittany Griner.
Which for Dyashia Fair could mean she gets it done next game, perhaps.
The way she's scoring, no doubt about it.
If we had a few overtimes, she could get it today, Jay. The way she's shooting the rock.
And what, you bring up height. Griner had, what, a foot and a half on her?
Exactly. Griner, I believe, listed at 6'8". They are retiring Brittany Griner's jersey at Baylor today, so congratulations to her.
Syracuse trying to close out a road win. Foul comes in, so that is the second. Still 3 more that you have to commit if you're Virginia. I know you got to go for the steal, but you don't want to jeopardize too much time coming off this clock.
You got to go fast. Go for a steal and foul. Because you're still, this is still a game, and you need to get Syracuse at the free throw line, but make a defensive play, make a play on the ball. You got to go.
Clark fouls out of this game. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists for the sophomore. Outstanding performance. Quick foul.
Next one should put Syracuse on the line, but of course, Dyashia Fair is not the person you want to foul. 83% free throw shooter.
You got to make sure that it's not Woolley or Fair if you're Virginia catching this ball. And of course, Syracuse does get it into Georgia Woolley.
And let's add this about Dyashia Fair as well, Jay. Liz Kitley, of course, is the 2-time reigning ACC Player of the Year. And I think she is the favorite right now to win a third. Hannah Hidalgo has been in the discussion from Notre Dame for ACC Player of the Year. Dyashia Fair, for me, has always been in the discussion this season, but she needs to be squarely in that conversation with how she's played.
Especially if Syracuse wins the regular season.
Look at where Syracuse is in the league. It's incredible. And if they do win the regular season, then maybe even more of a discussion. Virginia Tech does have the tiebreaker over Syracuse. When they played head-to-head, Virginia Tech won the game, so there is that. But Dyashia Fair, absolutely one of the 2 or 3. And right now, I think, I'll leave it at 3. 3 best players in the league. I think it's fair to put her in that category.
Well, she's had help from Georgia Woolley today, who has a season-high 24. So those two have combined for 55. Incredible performance.
When they can score like that, when those two can shoot it like that, the sky's the limit for Syracuse. Dyashia Fair, she scored over 3,000 points for a reason. She can score from beyond the arc. She can kill you in the mid-range. If you run her off the line, she elevates so well in the mid-range. She can get to the rim. She can do it from the free throw line. She can get her own shot. She can also distribute. She has 5 assists today, which I'm sure Coach Jack loves to see. And I think the biggest thing about Dyashia Fair, if there's one defining characteristic, it's how clutch she is. Down the stretch, every time Syracuse has needed a bucket in this game, Dyashia Fair's delivered. She's averaging 8.6 points in the 4th quarter in the ACC play. That's unbelievable.
And it's the 10th time Syracuse has had 80 or more. They have poured on the points on the road.
Got to go a little faster than this right now if you're Virginia.
Deep 3, Johnson misfires, falls to Fair. A lot of clock coming off, and Johnson finally commits the foul after 10 seconds runs off.
It almost looked like Virginia wasn't sure what they wanted to do, if they wanted to just let the clock run out or foul, because if you wanted to foul, you should have fouled 5 seconds earlier. Not sure what the plan was there. But of course, they end up fouling Fair.
Coming up next, Florida State and Miami continue our Sunday quadruple header here on ACC Network. As Coach Jack, who I think is starting to run away with ACC Coach of the Year, comes on the road to Charlottesville. And they are 20 seconds away from improving to 12-3 in the ACC, right in the hunt to win the conference, a team that was predicted 9th preseason.
Unbelievable. And didn't make the NCAA tournament last year. Picked 9th, pushing for a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament and pushing to win the league. It's incredible what Coach Jack is doing. She's smiling in the huddle. You can tell she's having a great time. And so happy for Coach Jack, and doing this at her alma mater. Coach Jack, an incredible player at Syracuse, has her jersey retired. And every win matters for Syracuse. Their net isn't as high as you might think. Their non-conference strength of schedule was 278, so they don't really have any massive wins from the non-con on their resume. So every win now in ACC play is needed to enable them to jump into that top 4 seed category.
Well, if they play like this, there's no question they will be hosting in the first and second round. Johnson triggers a triple and hits it.
Got to get the ball in if you're Syracuse.
Timeout, Coach Jack.
Surprised she didn't call that timeout right away to advance the ball. But she still can advance the ball because they didn't inbound it. But Virginia just sneaky, hanging around.
Well, I'll tell you this about the Cavaliers, Kelly. You go down 8-0 in the first 2 minutes. Tough to dig out of that hole, but they've played them even from that point.
They really have. And I thought the crowd stuck with them, stayed with them. I love the fight Virginia had coming out of halftime. They've won the second half. And I think just Dyashia Fair making some really tough clutch buckets at the end of this game has been one of the difference makers, in addition to Georgia Woolley also being herself and scoring the rock. But you're right, good fight from Virginia as Coach Mox continues to try to build this program.
Yeah, it likely will be too little too late for Virginia, but you have to remember the Cavaliers, they were down 18 points in the third quarter. This game looked lost, and they battled until the end.
And Kymora Johnson really came alive in the second half. We were talking about her and how much Virginia needs her. She has 15 points in this game to go with 9 assists, by the way, which cannot be understated.
If you're Syracuse, you just have to inbound this ball cleanly, get to the foul line and try and close it out. 5-second violation. Tenacious defense, great fight. We were just talking about that with Virginia. They have not given up in this game.
Well done by UVA, and Syracuse now out of timeouts. So that's big, and Virginia out of timeouts as well. If
so
Virginia
neither
can
team
score
can
here,
advance the ball. That's critical.
Yes, and if Virginia can score here, then it's really interesting.
Brunel, cross-court pass finds McGee. No good, off the mark. And now just 6 seconds left. Syracuse can feel it. The Orange about to advance to 22-4, 12-3 in ACC play. Been a special season for Coach Jack, and they feel like they've got a lot in front of them. Still to accomplish.
They certainly do. Like I said, if Georgia Woolley and Dyashia Fair, if they each go out there and score 20, put anybody in front of Syracuse. If those two play like that, Syracuse can beat them.
And for Virginia, this is a team as they make a deep three as the buzzer sounds to make it a 6-point win for Syracuse. That's a team you don't want to see in the ACC tournament.